that would, I mean, I can't imagine what it'd be like the little experiences I've had meeting people on set and through working with my son Cody, and getting to see the real people. That's what I've said. I said, when you get to meet the real person, not the character on the film, it's a whole different world, you know. It's just incredible. And the Stones are here in LA in the next few weeks, I think, in October.
I know. Minus Charlie Watts, which is very sad. But there you go.
Yeah.
Once again, you know, Charlie's not there, but the show goes on. You know, I kind of love that side of it too, that you just get on with what you do. And this is, again, I've said this a lot on podcasts, but what I really admire most and what I sort of realize is the through line of passion. You know, I've said before that I saw a Netflix show on Keith Richards, who's nearly 80 years of age, you know, as a doco.
Wow.
What I saw in that was not the drug, sex, and rock and roll. It was the absolute passion of somebody that's his life, to be the best possible rhythm guitarist, you know, guitarist, he can be songwriter and everything else, and musician. That hasn't stopped. He hasn't missed a beat at nearly 80 years of age. You go, well, there's no accident that he's had the career he's had. You know, same again with the James or whoever, or Stevie Nicks. It's their passion, and I love to be reminded about that even in my martial arts. If you're doing it for a sort of reason of success or fame or fortune, I think that's not necessarily the aim to have. But if you do it out of absolute passion, I believe that's where the longevity is in whatever it is you choose to do.
Yeah, well, that's so true, and you're right with, you know, the people that you see, like the guys are 80 and they're still up there prancing around like they're 20. You know, like that's not an accident. Like, they work at that every day. So you get up and go, oh, look at them, they're still going. But yeah, the regime they're doing behind, the passion behind all that would be just incredible, you know.
No, and it's very motivating, providing you see that life lesson in what they do. It's like, you know, I watched a little YouTube clip, very short, of Chuck hitting some mitts. You know, Chuck's 81 years of age, for God's sake.
Wow.
How inspiring is that? You know, is he going to move same as me or any other one else like I did when I was 40? No, doesn't matter. You just do the best that you're able to do at this stage of your life. As I often say, age alone will dictate that you do things very differently to what you did, you know, when you're half your age. That's okay, providing you're trying to be the best version of yourself with the faculties you have available, you know, given the fact that the years are piling on. And I just get very inspired by those, whether it's a rock and roll artist, a musician, a dancer, or whatever, that just keeps going on, you know, and keeps just doing what their life has been about. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's really awesome, mate. Hey, Doug, just one more before we go. That's thanks, Rich. That's really great.
So, yeah, Richard, how do you think your story can impact this world and the time that it's in?
Good question.
Look, I couldn't imagine it would have much impact other than those that I get to interact with on a regular basis. You know, I think that's where we have the most influence, and that's the most important influence anyway. Look, I love that people watch some of the 80s and 90s movies and send text messages about how much enjoyment it gave them. That's very rewarding. I just try at this stage to be a role model for the fact that it ain't over just because you're 70. You can still be actively involved in life. If that helps motivate just one other person, then job done. You know, as I like to say, 70 is the new 40, you know. That's probably an exaggeration, but if I can do that in any way, shape, or form, then that's good. And I'm just trying to be, again, do the best I can do with what I have available to me. And I still teach, you know, seminars, still teach classes. We have Team Norton, you know, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Association I have here with a number of clubs in Melbourne and Sydney. And if I can do seminars, inspire them by the mere fact that, as I said, it ain't over just because you're 50, that you can be 70 and still enjoy the arts the way I do, then again, I would think job done. You know, I'm happy.
Look, and just to top off that quickly, so true, Rich. Like, I'm coaching a few actors on Zoom at the moment in Australia, and one of them is a wonderful lady by the name of Beverly, Indigenous woman from up in Queensland. She's 60 years old. She was one of the stolen generation, and she's had a lot to do with the Indians, the Canadian tribes of the Indians that were, they're finding a lot of bodies up there at the moment at this particular area where they were murdered and buried. And she's been up there, speaking her piece there. But she just started acting, maybe 12 months ago and got bits and pieces. Wow, is her passion, just what you said. The words out of your mouth came out of hers. She loves it. It cheers her up. She said she cannot wait to get roles. She's getting roles. She's getting interest. But what's driving her at her age is, and her perspective of everything, it's like she's been an actor all her life, because she's got it, because her passion's so strong. She knows exactly what she wants to do. Like, it's really wonderful to see,
And what a godsend! Even though it's taken till 60, she's found that, And
yeah.
I imagine, I hope it'll end up in amazing enjoyment, for the rest of her years. Look, Andy, you and I both know it's a tough industry to be in. There's everybody vying for your job, your position. As I said, I'd like to say, if a skinny little asthmatic kid from Croydon, a suburb of Melbourne, can get to have the experiences I have, then really anybody can. It is possible. It just gets down to how badly do you want it,
Want it. Yeah. So true, Rich. And
yeah.
And look, all that's, it's just, it's tough, it's hard, and all the coaching I do, the first thing I tell actors, and a lot of my actors, some people don't stay with my classes because it's not what they want or expect. One of my guys, he just said to me, your classes are really not the norm. I said, that's because I tell you straight up, you realize you're walking into an industry where you might not make it. I said, but you might make it. You might not make it as an actor. You might make it as a director, producer, writer. I don't know what. But let me tell you, if you think doing one little scene a week and a little bit of this, and then you think you're going to get a job, I said, well, that's one in millions might. I said, you have got to work your ass, and you got to put the work in, and you've got to network and meet good people. And I said, I'm 69 this year, and haven't had work for a year and a half because of COVID. I had one job in there, a big Netflix animation, which was awesome, but the rest, nothing. A lot of auditions now, but things are changing. I'm not that 20, 30-year-old guy now. It's the grey hair and no hair. And so now we're updating all my photos to maybe get rid of this and have a clean shave. It's not out of desperation. It's out of seeing what works now, because you're in a different era. You can't stop. Like, you've got to keep going. I don't feel old. Sometimes my knee feels old, but I keep going, and I have lots of energy, and I refuse to be desperate about my career. I just a lady friend of mine who I'm very close to at the moment sent me a little message the other day, and she said, just let it come. Just let it come to you. It will come if you're putting the right actions in, the right thoughts about what you want. Things will show up. And this is not the time and place now, but the last 2 weeks, my gosh, everything's just switched around for me, because I did exactly what you were talking about, Rich. I got caught up in what's not working, caught up in a bit of the past, and then I just stopped it. I just had a conversation with someone and let it go, and things change. Things change immediately, overnight, days, weeks, all different.
Well, and the flip side is, if you don't hang in there, it absolutely won't happen. At least if you hang in there and do what you say and do everything possible within your control, at least there's no regrets. And if you don't make it, which a lot won't, at least you can say, well, at least I gave it my all. At least I gave it, as opposed to going, gee, if only I'd committed a little more, if only I'd done more classes, whatever. I think there's a lot of comfort in that, whether you make it or not, because shit, it's like when I started, I mean, I don't have any skills there's so many people more skillful than I. When I started, there was very few martial artists in the industry. And I did martial arts just because I wanted to be the best martial artist I could be. Nowadays, there's thousands that are doing martial arts because they want to be the next action star. In
Mhm.
other words, the competitive nature of the area we're in is through the roof to what it used to be, and the skill set. I mean, I keep saying people like Scott Adkins doing a lot of these action films, the skill level, I could only dream of having the skill level
Yeah.
that he has, you know. I did what I did in the 80s and 90s. It was all we were required to do, you know, and now they've taken a whole new level. That's
Yeah.
okay. I know, I'm talking to Scott, nobody works harder at what he does than he does. That's why he's that good, you know, and
Yeah.
bless him for having the career he's having, you know, as a result of that. But I just think very few, it will just happen by accident. It's
Yeah.
martial arts saying to me, oh, how do I get in the stunt industry and how do I get into it? I say, well, it's a difficult industry, but somebody has to do it. Why not you? The question is,
Yeah.
how badly do you want it? You know, that's what it gets down, because you are competing against an elite level of people in our industry at this stage of the game.
Oh gosh, yeah. And he's amazing, Scott. Like he is really, his work on films is just, and a good actor as well. You know,
Yeah, no, I know. Fantastic.
he's amazing. He's amazing. Well,
Well, he's writing his own scripts and everything now. You know, he's just
oh wow,
doing Accidental Man 2, it's called, and he's written it. He wrote a lot of his dialogue in some of the previous movies. So it's to your point that he's not just going on as a martial artist with incredible skills.
yeah,
He's delving into the totality of what he's getting into. And he's basically creating his own direction, you know, with writing, creating characters that he wants
yeah.
to play. As I keep saying, no accidents there, my friend, you know?
Nah, nah. And that's, I think that's a lot of the thing, you know, when we're teaching and mentoring and that, I get it too. Like people go, oh, this is good, I'm going to, but you really got to get, if you really want to stay in the game, you got a lot of work to do in front of you. It doesn't mean it will be hard, but you got to enjoy it. But you got a lot of work. You got a lot, because you got a lot of people behind you, like you said, man, all want to do the same thing. So the minute you drop your guard, someone's going to run over.
Yeah, me, you know? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, look, hey, Rich, thanks for taking time out again, and really great story. Very inspirational chat today. Like, I'm sure it will affect a lot of people in so many different areas, you know.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah,
We just do
it's
what we
great.
can do. Appreciate it. Thanks, Doug, and good luck on your journey, my friend. And again, congratulations on what you've achieved with yourself, you know? Good on
Yeah.
you.
Thanks, Rich, and say hello to Judy, please.
Will do.
All right,
All
mate.
right,
Take
everyone.
care.
All right, everyone. I want to thank both my friends for appearing on the show, and we'll see you next week for the next episode of Relentless and Unstoppable.